Imagine sitting by your backyard pool on a warm, sunny day, relaxing in peace. Suddenly, the pool begins to boil and foam. Steam rises everywhere, burning your skin with heat and radiation. In an instant, your body is reduced to embers and blown away by a shockwave, leaving behind only the charred walls of the pool. Nothing extraordinary has happened, just a small object struck nearby at nearly the speed of light. Now, imagine the needle doesn't fall into a pool, but into the Indian Ocean. If it landed in the middle of a remote, empty sea, nothing significant would happen. But if it fell just a few miles off the coast near Mumbai, things would look very different. Picture yourself as a surfer in Juhu Beach, paddling out on a calm summer day. Suddenly, a blinding flash appears, followed by a wave the size of a 6-story building. You wonder where a tsunami came from on such a clear day, but you don't have time to think. The wave engulfs you, and survival becomes impossible. Since oceans cover 70% of Earth's surface, it's far more likely that such a needle would strike somewhere far from human activity. But moving at nearly light speed, even something so small would release energy equal to 100 tons of TNT, or about 6 times the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Such an impact could instantly evaporate around 2 million tons of ocean water, about as much as the Lonar Lake in Maharashtra or the Chilika Lake in Odisha. If the steam reached 6 miles high into the troposphere, it would fall back as torrential rains, flooding streets, knocking out power lines and leaving people without electricity or internet for weeks. If 100 of these needles struck, enough water vapor could reach the stratosphere to trigger a runaway greenhouse effect. Earth could begin to overheat, gradually boiling its oceans until it resembled a smaller version of Venus. On the other hand, if the 2 million tons of steam rose into the frigid mesosphere, where temperatures range from -176 to -194 degrees, it would fall back as hail. The world could experience an unpredictable ice flood lasting days, with devastation on a massive scale. Now imagine if this needle didn't land in the ocean, but in one of the most dangerous places in India, Rajasthan's Bark radioactive waste storage site. Since decades, India has stored nuclear byproducts in highly secure facilities across the desert. A single breach here could be catastrophic. If a near light-speed needle hit, the protective layers would be obliterated in nanoseconds. Radioactive dust would spread across a 200-kilometer radius, contaminating towns and villages, and a deadly radioactive cloud could rise in the shape of a nuclear mushroom. And what if it struck India's geysers at Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh? All the hot springs, famous for their healing waters, would instantly evaporate. This wouldn't create a nuclear explosion, but it would still be catastrophic. The sudden release of poisonous gases like hydrogen sulfide, combined with suffocating carbon dioxide, could kill anyone nearby in less than an hour. Of course, we know that needles don't fly through space. Even if tiny objects did travel at near light speed, they would never reach Earth. Microparticles burn up instantly in our atmosphere. Still, such scenarios aren't entirely fictional. Let's look at the Indus Synchrotron facility in Indore, India. Here, electrons are accelerated to nearly the speed of light to study materials, energy, and physics at a molecular level. To actually reach light speed, they would need to accelerate only slightly more. The energy consumption of such accelerators is massive, comparable to powering a large city. Many myths surround particle accelerators, including fears that experiments could create black holes. While that's not true, one could imagine a catastrophic malfunction. A failure in the magnetic systems, forming a vortex like a transparent tornado, several kilometers wide at its base and stretching across the sky. In such a scenario, microparticles from space could be drawn in, accelerated, and then annihilated in the atmosphere, appearing as fiery streaks before detonating in massive explosions. Within days, the world could plunge into a new ice age. With temperatures dropping to around 8 degrees globally, hemoglobin would fail to supply oxygen to the body, leading to widespread cell death. Humanity's survival would hang by a thread. At that point, civilization would be forced into bunkers and shelters. Life outside would be impossible without gas masks. Society would collapse into a post-apocalyptic existence where people sat around fires, guitars in hand, singing songs in gas masks. Interestingly, India is not well prepared for such a catastrophe. Unlike Switzerland, which has bomb shelters for its entire population, India has very few dedicated nuclear bunkers. In major cities like Delhi, Mumbai or Bengaluru, there are limited government shelters, mostly meant for officials. The average citizen would have no place to hide. For a country with over 1 billion people, that's a terrifying thought. What do you think? Could such a scenario ever really unfold?